Hi, welcome to our week 9. I'm happy that we've come all this way now to week 9, and I'm also sad that we're preparing to end our course. We have just 2 weeks left, so congratulations if you've made it this far. So this week we're going to be talking about change and how we as human beings change. This topic is important because as we've been looking about what it means to be a leader in the world, and then you've been reflecting on your personal vision around particular project that you've been working. You've looked at, what are your capacities and your limitations, both from, from your personality and from your developmental level. And so we have, a really nice set of tools now to really go out in the world and make change happen. So it was important for me this week to talk about how we as human beings change. And so you'll be reading an article, The Neuroscience of Leadership, that has some research around how do we, what is it that it's difficult and what are the possibilities about making change happen, both for ourselves, but also, for the organizations we work with or the projects that we have selected. So I want to bring, this little drawing that talks about, here is, sorry, right here, there's a human being, and here is the world. So usually, just from what we've been talking about, I want to remind you of our very first week. Remember that we had the cylinder that was a particular size, and hopefully through this process, our cylinder has broadened it a little bit. So what happens is that depending on how we see the world, we, that way, we impact the world in which we are. So for example, if we tend to be very risk averse or we are afraid of things happening, our world tends to be a scary world for us, right? So we start paying attention to everything that could go wrong, right? That's an example about how, who we are starts shaping the world in which we are, because that's what we pay attention to, right? So this week, or really during this course, you have started to pay attention to the way in which you are in the world. What does it mean to be in the world? So that's beginning to shape your world. So for people who, for example, might be very positive or might be very vision oriented, focused on possibilities, then the world is just a huge possibility waiting to happen. You see that? So what we want to do is, well, and then from the other side is that the world also shapes us. So, we as individuals, we see the world a certain way, and then the world reflects that to us. As I was saying in the initial example, is that for someone who's that sees the world in a scary way, the world will keep showing all the things that can go wrong, right? So you see how the world continues to feedback to us what we see, the way in which we see the world. So as we start expanding our cylinder, we are beginning to see the possibilities for change. That is what in the 10 ways allows for a deeper level of development. When we start exiting a level, new questions start arising that support our development, right? So this is what we do. So as individuals, we're going to want to start seeing what are the new ways, what are the new things that I want to be paying attention to, what is it that I want, what are the new conversations I want to have with my team members, with my family, within my organization, that starts informing the way in a different way, and then the world starts informing that back to me. Okay, so as you do your reading, both you have two articles that I'm suggesting this week. Use both articles to see What are the ways in which you want to change the conversation in which you're at? In what ways you want to change your world, and how can you influence that in those around you for the project you have selected? I've also offered an interview with the owner of the company Sounds True to give you an example of how an integral company could look like, how working integrally could look like as a possibility. So I hope you have fun with that. We will have you will have an assignment this week, which is really in preparation for your final assignment. So I will say more of that once you get to the assignment page, so we can separate that. But I hope you get to enjoy it. Dig deep and think about some of the learning that we have had in the past on the things that you've already learned, and see if you can integrate that in the possibilities during our discussion boards. And as usual, please support each other in the discussion boards. It's just so beautiful to see the learning that happens when you guys are in dialogue. I think that's the best way to learn. Well, have fun, and I'll see you in the discussion boards.